everyone, it's Lyric and welcome back to my channel. Today, the day that I'm starting this video is June 3rd, so it's literally right at the beginning of summer, and so I thought, why not film a reading summer books video. I absolutely love watching other people read summer books, especially when it's summertime. It just feels right. So I do have a few summery type of feeling books that I'm going to be reading in this video. This whole vlog will be spoiler free. I hate watching videos like this and then a spoiler is thrown at me. Not fun. I don't want to do that to you guys, so we're just going to have fun reading together and talking about some fun summer books. So the first book for this video that I'm going to be reading is called When in Rome. I don't know if this is specifically summer, but this book just feels like summer to me. Like, look at that cover, and then kind of like the theme and the description of the video feel very summery in my mind, so I'm considering it a summer book, so please don't hate on me. I'm just now realizing maybe it's not even a summer book. I apologize. So this book is about Amelia. She's like a pop star and she has been feeling a little burned out, so she decides that she's going to go to Rome, Kentucky, just to kind of get away and, you know, regroup, get back into things, maybe get some inspiration back. Her car ends up breaking down and she's in the front lawn of Noah Walker. Also, love your last name, Noah. We might be related. But yeah, Noah is busy running his grandmother's like bakery. He's trying to keep it afloat. He's more of like a grumpy guy and he's very focused on his bakery and he doesn't want to get caught up in all the celebrity problems, all of that type of stuff. He's not interested in it. So he agrees to let Amelia stay with him, but only for as long as it takes him to fix her car, and then she's out of there. She's gone. He doesn't want her there anymore. But during that time, they end up spending time together, getting closer to each other, getting to know each other. He gets to see a different side of her that her fans and everyone doesn't get to see, and then their relationship starts to grow from there. So yeah, that's what this book is about. I don't know, like, does that not feel summery to you? To me it does. And also the cover looks like summer. This is kind of irrelevant, but the back of my cover got fully bent. You can't see it from there, but it was like right here and it was fully creased backwards because the cashier at Barnes & Noble, I went and I got a bunch of books because the Barnes & Noble near me closed down, so I had to drive to one farther away and decided to get a bunch of books since I won't be going as much, and this was at the bottom of the pile and the guy apparently put it in and this was flipped under, and so when I retrieved it the other day, I gasped. I was like, because I hate messed up covers. I'm the type of girl in bookstores who's like digging through and looking at every single one, looking at the covers to make sure I have the best one. And the reason I chose this was because it was a good cover, but the back is bent. But it's okay. It's flattening out a little bit, but it's still messed up and that still annoys me a little bit. That probably made me sound like a brat. I'm really sorry. Let's start this book. Another reason I'm excited for this is like it's short and sweet, and I just finished reading Fourth Wing, so this is the perfect book for me right now. I need a lighthearted, quick little romance. Let's go get a Starbucks drink and start reading. This is probably a little too early to do an update. I've never done that whole thing where you read a super like crazy fantasy book and then after you read a romance book. And I'm not gonna lie, it feels so refreshing. Like I feel super lighthearted after the first chapter. I don't know, it's just like a good little feeling. Hey guys, I'm back with another update. So I'm currently on page 124. I'm getting close to like halfway, I would say, and I just wanted to kind of share my thoughts. One reason Amelia came to this little town in Kentucky called Rome, obviously, is because she wanted to feel more like herself again, because she had spent so much time being famous, being around, having like bodyguards and manager, and no one really treating her just like herself. So she came to this town to get a sense of normalcy, and Noah is like, he's like attracted to her, but he really doesn't want to be, like, he doesn't want to get in a relationship. He's trying to push away his feelings that he has towards her, and so his way of doing this is by acting kind of mean and standoffish to her. But the thing is, when he acts like that to Amelia, that is what she likes. Him treating her like that is making her feel like a normal person, which is what she has been wanting. So she's really liking when he acts like that, and he's acting like that so that she doesn't think that he has feelings for her. There's a part in this book where Noah ended up really having to take care of Amelia, and all three of his sisters kind of noticed how much he really cares for her, and so they like to tease him about it, which is really fun. I really like his sisters and the way they act. I feel like the book after this is going to be about the quiet sister. I think her name is Annie. I hope it is, because I really want to hear her story. She's just interesting to me. But yeah, that's my little update. It's just a fun little book. I'm reading it really fast. It kind of feels like, the way it's written feels kind of YA. It's really simple and it's really easy to keep up with, and it's quick pace, but I'm also really enjoying it. And it's like the perfect read for finishing a fantasy book. And I love like the whole small town vibe. I used to think that wasn't my preference when it came to books, but the more books I read that are small town focused, I realize how much I really do enjoy that. So yeah, that's my little update on When in Rome. Hey guys, so I just finished When in Rome this morning, and I wanted to share my thoughts on it real quick. So this book, I really enjoyed it, and I enjoyed it more than I was expecting to. Something about it just felt really comforting. I really loved the way their relationship formed throughout the book. One thing I kind of found interesting was that they never had like a big falling out type of thing that you usually expect to see in romance books. And the way it ended was so wholesome. Like, the ending of this was perfect. I really enjoyed the way this ended. Also, while I was reading this, I looked up on Spotify a playlist for this, and it was like reading When in Rome, and I loved that playlist. I think that playlist literally made this experience of reading this book so much better. So if you do end up reading this, you should definitely search it up. I'm pretty sure it's like the first one that comes up when you search up reading When in Rome. It wasn't a 5-star read because it wasn't like 5-star feeling, but it was definitely a good book, and like I mentioned a few times already, it was the perfect thing for me to read after finishing Fourth Wing, because I needed something exactly like this. It just makes me feel really lighthearted and happy and content. I was really smiling and like giggling at the end of this book. It just made me feel really happy. I'm rating this a perfect 4-star, nothing above and nothing below. I definitely recommend reading this. I have the book that comes after this, and I'm pretty sure it's about Noah's sister Annie, which I'm super excited for, because as I was reading this book, I was like, I really want a story about Annie, and I really want to see her like get into a relationship, and I'm really excited. I will be reading that book in this video, but not quite yet. The next book that I'm gonna be reading is Book Lovers by Emily Henry. I feel like everyone has already read all of her books, but the only one of hers that I've read is Beach Read, and I loved that book. I didn't vlog it because it was before I started my channel and everything, but I really love Beach Read. I think in the far future I will end up rereading that book because it was so good, and I really loved it. I love her writing, and I really like how it wasn't only about just the romance. Like, there was other stuff going on and other problems that were a key focus in the book, and I really like when books have more substance to them besides just the romance. Like, there are other mental challenges or struggles and other things that the characters end up working through, because it just makes it more relatable, and it makes the story more enjoyable and feel more valuable, in my opinion. This book is about Nora and Charlie, and they're both in the book business. I'm not sure exactly what their jobs are, but they end up like running into each other multiple times, I think. And I think Nora's trying to like get away from her job or like her normal life and do something a little different. So she's going with her friend or her sister, and I think that's where she's gonna bump into Charlie a little bit, and apparently their interactions are just not the best. But yeah, I'm actually kind of excited for this. I feel like I've heard mixed reviews about this book, but when I looked at it on Goodreads, it was rated pretty high. It's like 4.1 something stars. It definitely feels like a summer vibey book for me. This one might take me, actually, I feel like this book looks like it could take longer than it actually will, because that's what I thought about Beach Read, and I ended up reading it so fast. I think it's something about the way Emily Henry writes. It keeps me engaged and interested, and I read it so quickly. We'll see how quick I read this. I will keep you guys updated on my thoughts. I have high expectations for this book. I really want to like it because Beach Read had such an impact on me that I really want to like her other books too. Do not judge me. Literally, there are cafes that I could go to, right? Like, I could go to a cafe. Matter of fact, I could even stay home at my house and use my desk. But where do I choose to work and edit? In the car. Editing my video right here. And then I was watching Destiny's Week in My Life. I have my coffee. There's my backpack. Yeah, so that is my little setup, but I was about to start editing this video actually, and I remembered that I haven't really done a update yet on Book Lovers, so I wanted to do that real quick. Right now I'm currently on page 123, so maybe like a third of the way through the book. If there's one thing Emily Henry is genius with, it is her banter. When conversations go on between the characters, I not only feel like I can imagine it, but I feel like I'm there. I feel like I'm almost like a part of the conversation, in the environment, fully there in person, and it feels so natural. It's so smooth, like it flows so well. I don't even know, like I couldn't even tell you what she does good to make the banter so amazing. It's so engaging and it's so easy to follow. Also, I really like her comparisons. I think I took a picture of one that I wanted to mention in here because it's just stuff that I would never think to describe something like this, and then I read it and it's a most perfect description ever. Like, it's so accurate, but also at the same time I could never think of it. When Nora was talking to Charlie and they were having a conversation, and she had a moment where she felt like he could see her secrets or something, and so when she felt like that, she went like this. But then the description is like, I smooth my hair like I could tuck any exposed secrets back into place. That is just so unique. I don't know. I just love Emily's writing. Nora and her sister Libby wanted to go to a small town together to kind of mend their relationship. Not that it was really in a bad place, but it wasn't as close as it used to be, so they wanted to get away. Also, Libby is pregnant, so she kind of wanted to get away from the house and from the kids and all of that. So her and Nora are in a small town. They were at a bar, I think, and Nora got tipsy and she ran into Charlie, who she had a negative experience with 2 years ago at a little meeting that they had. And so she bumps into him. Before she bumped into him, she was already stalking him a little bit because she knew he was in the town, and they always email each other, and it's really like passive aggressive, kind of like bothering each other a little bit, almost joking, but actually there's some truth behind it, that type of thing. She was in a coffee shop and she saw him and realized that he was there too, but she didn't go up to him and say anything, obviously, and she just started emailing him from her hiding spot, and she's watching him like react to it. So later they do end up bumping into each other at the bar, and they have like this little connection type of thing. So yeah, I'm kind of at that point. I'm a little bit past that, but I feel like I just explained that in like opposite order of when it happened. Yeah, I'm really enjoying the book. I like their connections so far, and I just love when there's like that tension, not always like the sexual tension thing, but when it's like tension as in you bother me a little bit, you're kind of annoying. I love that in books, so I'm eating this up. I'm really liking it so far. Comment down below if you get annoyed of me talking. No, never mind. I just finished Book Lovers, so now I'm going to be sharing my thoughts and opinions. Overall, I really enjoyed the book. This book compared to Beach Read, which I gave 5 stars, I really enjoyed Beach Read. But if we're comparing Book Lovers to Beach Read was way better in my opinion. Don't get me wrong, her writing in this was great. Like, I still really enjoyed it. But something about the writing in Beach Read, like there were so many more good quotes, and the writing just had me feeling all types of ways. And it almost feels like her writing in Beach Read is an improvement compared to this book. But apparently Beach Read came out before Book Lovers, so I don't know. I enjoyed the story. I enjoyed the characters. I was able to emotionally connect with them, so it was an enjoyable read for me. It wasn't super special or anything. I did enjoy the writing though. It was still very easy to read. For the most part, I was entertained and didn't have to like push through to make myself keep reading, so that was good. It was a smooth read and I read it pretty quickly. For me, reading a book like this in about 3.5, 4 days, that's good, and that's how quickly I read this book. Yeah, I don't have any complaints, but I also don't have any like astounding praises. Overall, I could rate this like a high 3 if I'm being super precise, because on my channel I rate books like really precisely. So for this, I feel like I would rate it like a 3.85, somewhere up there, but on Goodreads I'm gonna give it a 4 star. Like I said, don't really have too many complaints. It didn't provoke extreme emotions within me, but I did still enjoy it and I would still recommend it. Okay, now I'm gonna introduce my next read. While I was looking at my books, or the books I wanted to use for this video, I realized that there are literally 6 or 7 books that I want to include in this video, and I feel like that's gonna make the video like 40 minutes long. We'll see what I end up doing. Like I said at the beginning of this video, I read When in Rome. I really enjoyed that video, or book. I really enjoyed that book. Kind of already went over this, but in When in Rome, the couple is Noah and Amelia, and Noah has 3 other sisters, and one of the sisters, like the really quiet one, her name is Annie. So this whole book is centered around Annie and Will. Annie has a bad date, and at the place that she's going on a date, Will walks in and she ends up talking to him, and she's like, so what are you doing back in town? And he mentions that since Amelia and Noah's wedding is coming up, the press are probably going to want to come into town, and so Amelia asked Will to come back and be her bodyguard. That's the part that I'm at, where Annie and Will just ran into each other after her unfortunate date. I feel like I'm gonna really relate to Annie because I, for the most part, am an introvert. I've gotten a little better over the years. I still have like a similar thought process as Annie seems to have at the beginning, based off of what I've read so far, so I might become emotionally attached to her. This book is dual POV. I can't remember if When in Rome was, but this is, and that's like my favorite. It just helps me connect way better with both characters. So yeah, that's what this book is about. Why do I have a crush on Will already? The description of his tattoos should not be all it takes. So this is my next read. I have come to the conclusion that I may be using clickbait in this video because I said it's summer reads, but really it's just summer looking covers. But if I title the video reading summer looking books, no one's gonna care. No one's gonna click on the videos. I'm sorry about that, but so far all the ones I've read have felt summery to me. Also, all day today, I've been watching Sarah, Des, and Haley's beach trip vlogs. Who wants to be book beach besties with me? We can film videos, take pictures, and go to the beach. We could travel together. Like, I want their lives. I want their lives so bad. All right, I'm gonna go read more. If my hair looks weird, I mean it always does, but if it looks extra weird, it's because it is so humid here right now. Like, I walked out of Target today and I can see the air, the humidity. And curly hair and humidity is one of the worst combos known to man. Last night I finished Practice Makes Perfect, so I'm gonna share my thoughts. I did enjoy this book, however, I actually think I liked When in Rome more than this one, which I'm a little surprised. I kind of thought I would end up liking this one more, but that doesn't mean I didn't enjoy this. I did really enjoy this book. I did read it a little bit slower. I found myself kind of wanting to just pause from this book. Not that it was boring, but sometimes there were just moments where I wasn't like too excited to keep reading. When I was reading When in Rome, I was more intrigued. This was a fun little romance. I just love this small town. I love this whole world in general. Based off the way this ended, the next book will be about Maddie, whatever that sister's name is. So I'm hoping that Sarah Adams does come out with another book about that sister, which I'm pretty sure she will. And then the other one, Emily or Emma, I really liked Will, and I love the way he communicated. We love a good man who can communicate his emotions and his feelings. Like, sometimes they would flat out tell each other how they're feeling. I literally love you, but we can't be together. So let's agree to both enjoy the time we have together. So that is something I did like about this book. I'm rating it 4 stars on Goodreads. I feel like in general I would rate it more 3.65, 3.7 maybe. Now, moving on to what's gonna be the last book for this video, the only real summer book in this video. We've already gone through this and how I'm only basically reading books with summer looking covers. I feel like everybody knows about this book, or everybody's read it. It has been on my TBR for over a year. Comment down below any books that you have had on your TBR for that long. And it's not that I haven't wanted to read it. I don't know. I always keep buying more books, and then the new books that I buy are ones that I want to read at that moment, so then I just read those instead. But the last book in this video is Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I have heard so many good things about this book. I feel like in almost every video that I see people talk about summer book recommendations, this book is in it. Also heard a lot of people say that they love Taylor's writing. I did actually already start part of this book. I'm gonna insert those clips after this portion. I already have some things I want to say about this, but first let me tell you what this book is about. If you somehow haven't already read it, I feel like you probably have. I feel like everyone has, actually. This book is about the Riva family, and they live in Malibu, which is known to burn. There's a little intro at the beginning of this book talking about all the years where Malibu has had like major fires. Nina Riva, who is the oldest sibling, I believe, she has an annual end of the summer party at their house. She has just gotten a divorce with her husband named Brandon, and it said that Brandon married Carrie Soto. I'm pretty sure Taylor Jenkins Reid has written a book called Carrie Soto is Back, which was kind of cool to me because I haven't read it, but I heard the name and I was like, oh, so Nina's ex-husband married Carrie Soto, the tennis player. But yeah, the book starts off with Nina kind of depressed about that, but today is the day of her party and she's determined to still throw that party because she knows all her other siblings really enjoy that. It has happened yearly and it's just something that she really wants to do, something that'll make her happy and have fun. We get a little introduction into her other siblings' lives. She has 3 other siblings. Jay and Hud are both of her brothers. Pretty sure Hud is like a step brother in this family, and then she has a younger sister. Her name is Kit. So far I've had like a little glimpse into all of their lives on this day. What I'm really excited about, I have never read a book like this. The whole book is centered around one day, and by the end of the day all I know is that the house that she lives in is going to be up in flames. That's not a spoiler or anything. That's literally like what the back of the book says. So this whole book will be about the Riva family, their big summer party, and I feel like a lot of them have little secrets, things that they're hiding from each other, and it's all either going to spill out at the end or something. I feel like something crazy is going to happen at the end. And also, as we're reading about this day, all of the chapters are like each hour of the day, but throughout the day we are also getting little snippets of their parents' lives and how their parents met and their parents' story as well. Really interesting to me. I've never read anything like this, but I can definitely say Taylor's writing, I'm like reading pages and then I check to look at the page number that I'm on, and I'm actually surprised because it does not feel like I have read the amount of pages that I've read. Like, I will swear that I've read 5 pages and I looked down, it has been 20 pages of the book. I don't know, her writing is just really engaging. Almost feels like I can watch this take place in my mind. I know you're like, yeah, Lyric, that's how every book works, but this one, it actually feels like I can fully see everything. Like it's a show. Like I can think through the scenes and everything in my head. I am only 50 pages in so far. I'm so intrigued and I'm really liking this. And knowing that there's a really big event at the end of this book and it's their house burning down or being up in flames is really intriguing in a way. That is going to be the last book of this video. I might do a part 2 or I might not. That's my little update. Don't worry, this isn't a spoiler. As we're reading, we're obviously all anticipating like the party that happens close to the end of the book, and also like how the house gets to the point where it's gonna be burning down. But y'all, the party, it's like, it's so crazy seeing how all these people have different secrets, and although these siblings are so close to each other, like they have gone through hell, they have been through so much together and they know each other so well, but at the same time they literally do not know each other, and they all are keeping such big secrets from each other, and it's like they're all being exposed at this party. And then a bunch of other people and other characters are involved as well, and the drama that's unfolding is insane. And it's like all at once, all at this party, all on the same night. Kind of crazy. The weather is looking a little concerning right now. Might have a tornado coming through. Yesterday, I finished Malibu Rising, and guys, I gave it 4 stars because it didn't give me that 5-star feeling, but it was definitely like, if this is 5-star, it was 4.9. I really love this book. I didn't realize until I got about halfway through that this wasn't a romance novel and it was just like a novel. I think it's literary fiction. I'm really bad with knowing the types of books that I'm reading. I just know like romance, mystery, thriller, and fantasy, really. The way TJR literally had me so attached emotionally to every single one of the characters, at least the Riva family, like I was there. There are a lot of characters in this book, especially towards the end. It kind of switches between POVs consistently throughout the book, and so we get to see the point of view of all of the siblings and why they're making the choices that they're making and their thoughts about it, and we get to understand what they've all gone through and why they are the way they are. Also, the way this switched between the current timeline and the timeline of the Riva siblings' parents was really cool as well. I really liked how this whole story, at least the present timeline, took place in a day. So this whole book is really to describe one day that just was really significant and kind of like a big ending and a new beginning. I loved getting to see the way that so many people from so many different areas of life and different jobs and positions were all connected. All I gotta say is this was an amazing book. I feel like I really need to read more of Taylor's books because I loved this. I didn't rate it 5 stars because it didn't give me that 5-star feeling. I'm sure you guys know how that feels, but it was such a good 4-star read, and I would highly recommend it if you haven't already read it. I feel like everybody has read this book. I was so pleased with this, and I really enjoyed my experience reading it. It's the next day, and I'm back to film a little wrap-up of all the books that I've read in this video. So starting off with When in Rome, I read it right after Fourth Wing. This was the perfect length, short, fun, and sweet romance that I needed to read right after Fourth Wing. I loved the relationship between Amelia and Noah. I really love Noah. I love their connection. I love the whole small town, like this whole world. I really enjoyed it. I liked a lot of the characters in the town, and I really loved the connection between Noah's sisters and Amelia. It was so sweet. Loved this book, ate it up, and ended up rating it 4 stars, and would definitely recommend this one. Was such an easy read, flowed very well, and kept me entertained throughout the whole thing. Second book I read was Book Lovers by Emily Henry. Also really enjoyed this book. I love Emily's writing, and she did a great job on this yet again. I did mention it was definitely not as good as Beach Read, but it was still a very enjoyable book. I thought the storyline for this was pretty cool. It's something I feel like I'm starting to notice with Emily's writing and her books is that there is more to it than just the romance, and I could definitely say that was the same for this. Both of the characters really grew on their own individually and conquered some challenges and struggles that they had personally, and that always adds more to the book and it makes me enjoy it even more. It was also 4 stars, and I would recommend reading this one as well. Third book for this video was Practice Makes Perfect, which comes after When in Rome. It was kind of like a muted Grumpy Sunshine type of trope, and then they also had this fake dating thing going on as well. But I did also really enjoy this one. Did not enjoy it as much as I thought I would, and I can't pinpoint exactly why. I think there were a few moments with the way Annie acted when I was like, what are you doing? But for the most part, I did enjoy this book, and I really loved Will. Will and Noah were just really great, but my type when it comes to books and reading is more of a Will type of guy. I would say Will was my favorite guy in the books that I read in this video. Another 4-star from me, and I would definitely recommend reading this as well. And lastly, I read Malibu Rising. Don't want to talk too much about this because you just heard my recap. Loved this book. Definitely like a 4.85, 4.9 star for me. Didn't give that 5-star feeling, but such a good book. Highly would recommend. It is not a romance book, which is what I thought it was going to be going into it. I don't know why I thought that. The way I felt like I could literally communicate and talk to the Riva siblings, I felt like I was so in tune with the atmosphere and the surrounding and the characters in this book. I loved seeing the growth, how everything connected between so many different people, so many different areas and stages of life. I loved this book. It all took place in one day. This whole day was a huge beginning and end for the Riva family, and it was such a beautiful story. Loved the ending. The last fourth of the book was amazing. I actually felt like I was at the house. Like I was there. I was at the party. I could see everything in so much detail in my head, which hasn't really happened much when I've read. But yeah, this was a very high 4-star from me. Definitely recommend if you somehow haven't already read this book. I really need to go read Taylor's other books now because this was a masterpiece. So that is all the books for this reading summer books video. I really hope you guys enjoyed. I loved filming this video. I'd say it was pretty successful considering that every single one of those was 4 stars. That's a really successful reading video actually. I'm very pleased with that. Feel free to follow me on my other socials, TikTok and Instagram. I'm very active on, so you can go check those out. Let me know your thoughts on any of the books that I read in this video or whatever book you're currently reading. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!